Podcasting.
We're live.
This is going to be bad.
It's going to be awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jeff Gibbard, and I'm the host of the Social Happy Hour. And today, I'm here with Lynette Young, known by many of you in the Twitterverse or the Twitcher sphere, or those among you who are Twitterati, as Lynette Radio.
Tweet it.
Gonna tweet that out?
Yes, I am.
Hi. So we're here today. We're going to talk about some things, but before we do that, I'm going to let Lynette introduce herself.
Introduce myself?
Introduce yourself. Tell the people watching on the periscopes what you do, who you are, where you're from, and why I would have my Wonder Twin on the show.
Hi from Connecticut.
What up, Connecticut? CT in the house.
So here's the first thing. This is my very first Periscope. I know. You would think that I'm like Miss ahead of the curtain.
I would.
But this is actually my first one because I don't ever think that I have anything worthwhile to say. So, yeah, well, whatever. So, my name is Lynette Radio online. That's pretty much where you can find me everywhere. I'm an old tech girl, an old digital marketing girl, an old podcaster, and a new Periscoper apparently now. So I'm here to talk to my Wonder Twin here tonight, Jeff, about a couple of topics actually, right? What do you have on store tonight?
We got a couple things. One, we're going to talk about Google+. We're also going to talk about podcasting, of which two topics Lynette has a tremendous amount of knowledge on. And as you mentioned, we should let everybody know that we are Wonder Twins.
We are.
Lynette and I share entirely too much in
Wait,
common.
you do ice and I do what?
Fire.
Fire.
Yeah.
No, that's not it.
No, that's Captain
Animals.
Planet.
It's animals
Yeah.
and
It's Wonder Twin powers activate form of podcasters.
Getting some love, getting some love.
Get some love, I take
Someone
it.
has to tweet to us what the two Wonder Twins are. What
Yeah,
their each
we don't know what the
powers
Wonder.
are.
We only know what I only know what the ambiguously gay duo is, and that's not us.
That's not us.
We're different. Okay, so for those of you that don't know me, I am Jeff Gibbard. I'm the president and chief strategist of True Voice Media. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't yet, go to truevoicemedia.com/conversations, and the very first episode of our podcast features none other than Miss Lynette Young.
Okay.
Lynette Radio, twice now, joining me in the early days. So, I am a social business strategist. I talk about a whole bunch of different things, and I do a lot of different things, and there's my vague introduction. So we're going to start this off right. Early, quick intros, and we're going to jump into the first topic, which is Google+.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
So, for those that don't know,
But I've never heard of it.
that have never heard of it and that think it's a ghost town. By the way, does ghost town like upset you to the extent that it upsets me? Because it upsets me when I hear people say it.
It upset me like 2 years ago, but it
Doesn't
doesn't
upset
upset me anymore.
Now it kind of is like, yeah,
Whatever. You're
move on.
just a lazy troll journalist.
yeah.
that doesn't
You just are on Facebook and you're upset about having to do additional things.
But when people call it, you're right though. When people call it a ghost town, that's lazy writing. In my
Yeah,
opinion. So
I completely agree. It's going towards what you've heard online instead of actually investigating for yourself. What?
Can you ask if they can hear you?
Oh, can you hear us? Are we projecting our voices enough? Let us know with 100 hearts.
1 million.
1 million hearts. Yeah, apparently hearts are a very important thing on Periscope. I'm still learning the ropes myself. Are we getting lots of hearts?
Yeah,
Getting
we
lots
can
of
hear
hearts.
you.
Humans
Yes.
also,
They can
right?
hear us.
Thank
Good.
you. Taniko Solutions says, yeah, we can hear you.
Booyah. Okay, so let's go back to the Google Plus thing. So, for those that don't know, Lynette here were you the first person or
Tony.
first woman to a million? Which one was it?
Oh no, I wasn't the first person to a million. I was probably in the first 10 or 15 women to a million. Probably in the first 200 people to a million.
Got it. So very early
I
in
don't
to a million followers / plus ones, whatever the terminology has changed to. So very early on, you were a huge believer in it. I used to actually say to people, the most important social network of the next decade is going to be Google+. I actually believed it because I thought it makes perfect sense that Google would obviously give it search implications. They didn't. But there were all these reasons I thought it was huge. And you were a big believer. You even wrote a book about it. That's why we're here talking about Google+. But do you think it's dead?
No, I think it's niche.
Okay.
Much like, there was a big hoo-ha a couple months ago, I forget, about Reddit, and, they fired their amazing PR community manager, I guess she functioned as, and, it bubbled up in the media because, there was, turmoil going on. but their community is very fierce, very dedicated, and very niche, right? That I feel the same that Google Plus has fallen into that. They, I really do believe, and I've talked to a lot of the VPs, Vic and Daltra, I've talked to several times, all the big wigs over at Google Plus or Google, and they really did want it to be the next Facebook, the social thing that weaves the web together. And it didn't, for various reasons, it didn't become that, but I do think that it has a really strong life right now and for the foreseeable future for niche audiences. Photography, art, hobbyists, cooking, a lot of personal hobby type things, maybe not professional. I'm not seeing a lot of professional things going on there like you would equate to LinkedIn groups, but personal hobby type things like downtime, free time stuff, that's totally rocking it over in Google Plus still. And the audience is really big and they're very fierce and they're very loyal.
You know what I found this really interesting? So, Twitter's my favorite thing on the internet.
I love Twitter. It's my glasses.
Yeah, it's the greatest thing on the internet. But what I found is this. If I post the same thing to Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and LinkedIn, engagement, it goes Facebook, Google+, Twitter, LinkedIn. So even though Twitter is my absolute favorite, even though I'm still, Twitter's my favorite, I still get more engagement on Google+. Now, the question just came in, are you still using Google+?
Oh, yeah, I do.
So I don't use it super actively. I use it more actually as I'm more of a lurker there. I post the majority of my content to either a blog of some sort or to Twitter, Facebook. I don't use Google Plus as much, but here's my thought on Google Plus with regard to whether or not I post there, and this has been my complaint from the beginning. I can go on Hootsuite and I can post to Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and my Google Plus page, but I can't.
Not your profile.
Yeah, so for me, it's actually additional steps for me to go there and engage there, where it actually doesn't take me. I can use Twitter from everything, but Google Plus has become. There's a lot of hurdles to posting content there.
I actually believe that that's one of the things that killed it is the fact that they don't let third-party API access into your profile, like on Facebook, Lynette Young, and I can go in. I use the Edgar app, which I absolutely love, and Hootsuite, things like that. Love Edgar. Totally love it. I'll give you my password. You can see the shit stuff. But I love that. But the fact is they forced you to go to their platform. I honestly think that was one of the things that
was one of their biggest mistakes.
I think
it was also one of the things that made Twitter actually so successful was that you could use like 100 different apps to actually interface with it, whereas Google Plus you can't do that. So, I mean, I still post everything. Mostly my Google Plus pages for the company, but that's again because I can use Hootsuite and I can use other apps to do it. Buffer. So, but I can't do that with my profile, so I barely touch it. Another problem I have with Google Plus I found was I have a Gmail account and a Google Apps account. Which one do I use? Well, most people are looking for me on my Google Apps account, but I want to use my Gmail one as my primary. So I think that was another problem that I saw with it. Did you read, or I just put it out a couple of days ago, on Sunday actually, my suggestions for how Google Plus could reinvent their network and resurrect it?
I loved it. I did. Honestly, I read it.
Flattery. Okay, so a question we got from the audience was also important for SEO.
Not anymore, sadly. It is, but it's not as important as it used to be.
Well, they killed author rank.
Oh my god.
Wasn't that like the worst idea ever? And then also they killed incorporating into search results. Why do they do that? So
listen, Jeff, can I just tell you, like, honest to God, I sat at my kitchen table and cried the day that they killed author rank. Like, I'm not even lying because I'm a.
You also devote a lot of time to it.
I devoted a lot of time to it, but what happened is that people abused it, and Google wasn't able to differentiate between basically black hat, white hat SEO. We'll kind of go there, and so they just said, basically, screw all of you, we're cutting it off.
Which is messed up because with the search engine, if there's black hat techniques, they find a way around it. I mean, they employ more doctors than MIT. Why can't you figure out how to do it with a search engine?
I don't know. All I know is Google employs a lot of engineers and not a lot of social. A friend of mine actually is out in the San Francisco area, and she just got a new job as the small business community manager for Google, right? So, like, I'm like, okay, that's awesome. Like, you're going forth, local mom and pop stores on Main Street and stuff. What do you have to do with Google Plus? She's like, it's all Google local. So that part I still find is vital. Like, every time I talk to a small business that has brick and mortar, I'm like, you need to claim all your stuff, get your map pins, get everything you possibly can for Google Local, which
They
is
need to
in
make
Google
that
Plus
process
now.
simpler.
They need to make it a lot simpler, especially for people that have multi-locations. I worked with a very large hotel chain once. Some are corporate owned, some are franchise sort of model, and the franchise model had a really difficult time of claiming all their Google Local listings because they just made it ridiculous. But so that part of Google Plus, or Google, I should say, is still extremely vital for SEO. But if you're like e-commerce, because I work with e-commerce companies, it's Google Plus really is the place for you at this point. It used to be, but it's not anymore.
I just don't understand. So the plus one, as I have the plus one on almost all my sites, recommend this page, whatever. It seems like that should, I know it seems like it could be easily gained, but even if it is gained, let's say I go and I buy 1 million plus ones from Indonesia.
Yes.
If they're not friends with the people that I'm friends with, how should that influence Google rankings anyway? Like, it seems like it shouldn't. So like, it kind of has a built-in, if you have the social graph there, it shouldn't be a problem.
Right, because what it was is the plus one. So if I go to Jeff's corporate page on Google Plus or his personal profile and plus one and like it as a page, as the entity, not just an individual post, only people in my social circle or like LinkedIn, friends of friends, should really be influenced with that. Like somebody that's across town that I have no connections with, they don't matter to me. They're not in my social graph. Their plus ones shouldn't count. So those purchased plus ones should not be in the ecosystem of that. And they never did show up that way, but we still got penalized for it. They cut it out.
Well, it's messed up because it seems like all they have to do is build on the back of Facebook's social graph, and they should be able to influence search. So, like, when I read a post like early on in the life of Google Plus that was like, you should be able to sign up for Google Plus with Facebook Connect. Because think about it, you could actually pull in all of the interest data, all the data they're trying to get you to recreate. You just pull it all in right with Facebook. So why not just do that? Which is kind of, I mean, when MySpace tried to do it, it was like a signal of death. But in the early days, that would be a super sneaky way of capturing all that data. And then you can use that data to influence search results. And I mean, think of it this way. So we very clearly, at True Voice Media, we know very clearly who we're trying to target. And it's directors of marketing, generally between the age of 35 to 45. Generally women. Generally women. So, and one of the biggest acronyms that come out of their mouth, their biggest fear, is SEO. They're so worried about SEO. Why not, as a social network, when there's no other social network that has access to the Google Index, why not just to make that like the central point of your social network? Why? I don't know. To me, it never made any sense.
I know. But you know what? About 2.5 years ago, I think they were really spot on in what they were doing, and then really out of nowhere, and I hate to say this, but the person that was heading up Google Plus stepped down. He really was the Vic.
Yeah.
Vic stepped down, and he was the absolute heart of the system, the heart of the community.
Nobody championed for it when he left.
Nobody stood up and did it. And in fact, it's funny, I was talking yesterday to someone to say, like, why doesn't anyone, they have a 100-person company, why doesn't anyone internally vie for that position, for that project in your company? They're like, no one's stepping up, no one wants to do it. And I'm like, then that means that project is dead. If no one in your company is passionate enough to step up and say, I want to do this, then it's not the right thing. And I think that's what happened.
That's messed up. I'll tell you what. Alphabet owned Google. If you're watching,
can we talk about that?
Yeah, we can talk about that. But I will say this: Google, if you're watching, I'll fucking take it. I will take that network and I will crush Facebook gladly, and I will incorporate all of the brilliant people that I know, and I will absolutely crush Facebook. But so I just got a note from our producer Alyssa that Drew Griffin said hi. So hey, cool people, nice to have you on the show. And we are at the Gaslight in Old City, Philadelphia. I've decided that the first 4, 5, 10 episodes, I don't know, will be at the Gaslight. They've been very hospitable to us. They have great chicken nuggets, and they make a wicked old-fashioned. It's also fairly easy to get to, right? Not bad.
Parking was
Not
amazing.
bad.
I'm a
Super
Jersey
easy.
girl.
So, and beyond that, we want to be able to show the places that we go to that, we're giving them the shout-out, we're giving them the love, and maybe some people come in, tell them they watched the social happy hour, and that's why they came in. And,
Before the Pope comes.
Yeah. That's going to be it. We there's so many things we could talk about.
The Pope.
So let's, do you want to pivot real quick and talk about Alphabet? real quick while we're
Alphabet,
in
very
there?
good. All I have to say is I was disappointed that Mashable did not pick up my tweet because I thought it was so brilliant. So, Alphabet is the new parent company for Google, right? So, Larry has, like, you know, Sergey's put this thing in where they're going to have a parent company for Google. That way, that all of the weird things that Google picks up, like their self-drivable cars and their like drones and the whatever the heck they're doing, air balloons, whatever they're doing, can be separate entities instead of under search and advertising, which is a huge money cow for Google, right? So it's just a way of restructuring it. But you know, in my opinion, like the simple plus is not part of the alphabet. So I just like to say that.
Ah, I see what you did there.
I think they're ditching it. I think they said a while ago, actually when Vic left, that, you know, oh, Google Plus is Google and it's the same thing and whatever, but I really think they're ditching it a bit, but I'm excited to see what they're doing, and I know that and you know what, if it was me, if I owned Google and I invented it, I would want to, search and advertising is probably hella boring for them right now, right? So they want to go on, they want to play. They have all this money, they have all this talent, this ability. So they've created this, you know, parent company of Alphabet where they can do this. Do you think they'll buy Twitter? Oh.
So in my article, I suggest that they should buy Twitter. Will they buy Twitter? My concern is that they will and they'll fuck it up. My greatest hope is that they buy it, leave it alone, and stop making it chase money. Because I think the biggest problem with Twitter is that right now investors are after it to try and get it to make money. When really, like if you look at like, I don't know if you saw the thing about what, they asked Zuckerberg about Instagram and WhatsApp, and he was like, I'm not even going to try and monetize it until it's at 1 billion users. And to me, I'm like, that's effing brilliant. And I rarely say anything nice about Zuckerberg, but it's brilliant because you know what? He has over 60% ownership in the company, I think, and he's willing to tell Wall Street, I'm doing what I want.
Yeah, I love
and
that.
Nobody at Twitter did that, and nobody at Google did that. So, you know, again, in my article, one of the things I posted was essentially that the leadership at Google, when people were like, oh, you're making us sign in to YouTube with our Google, who cares? You want to leave? Leave. Find a better video site. Go. You know what? You want a better identity site? Go use Facebook and watch what they do. We don't even have ads. Go. They should have been balls out from the start. So I think, you know,
Billy
that's...
Grubb agreeing with you also.
Thank you, Marilyn. So that's always been my thought, is that like they need to be ballsy about it, but two, that the whole Twitter thing is that they still don't have their formula down. The people who love Twitter are us. They're people who have been there since the beginning and who just love it for the conversation and love it for what it represents to us, like the nostalgic part of our heart that remembers the early days of social. Is that me?
Can we talk about
The
that?
early days of social?
So I know it's
We
totally
can.
not
Where are
your
we on
thing.
the
It's totally
shots of
not your
social
thing.
time?
Are we?
We have 2 minutes.
Okay, so
we can
2
come back to it
minutes.
after shots of social
Okay.
too.
Are we going to do shots of social?
We're going to do shots of social. Why don't we pause and just do shots of social real quick?
So we have an interesting observation from Tony, who says Periscope is humanizing Twitter.
Oh, you know, Tony, I agree, because Twitter now is nothing but link dumps, right?
Yes.
I love, there's this I feel bad because I don't know the exact URL, but there's this application called Edgar, EDGAR.
I think it's Get Edgar.
GetEdgar.com, right? That's probably it, right? And I have it, and for a social platform, or, you know, it's expensive. It's like $50 or $60 a month. But it allows me to take evergreen content and kind of repurpose it. But all I do is I put links in there. I put articles that I like, Mashable stuff, Inc.com, you know, whatever. And those are the things that people want. They want curated content, and it's sad. When I actually have conversations on Twitter, nobody's listening. And I have I figured like a medium to fair following on Twitter. Nobody cares when you actually talk to them. They just want to see, this is what you suggest, click on the link and go away.
Can I tell you what I did?
So I love that Periscope is humanized.
So I agree and I disagree. I think Periscope is humanizing Periscope, and it's giving. I mean, it is its own entity that is owned by Twitter, yes, but and it gives you access to your Twitter network. Purchased by Twitter. But I'll tell you this: you want to humanize Twitter? Do this. Download Tweetbot and put in a filter that removes all links. Just put in ://. All you'll get are people talking. And to me, that is one of the most fascinating things I've done with Twitter in forever. Because all I see, Tweetbot, it's an iPhone app. I don't think they make Android. But you put in a mute filter for :// and what you get is only conversation. All you get are people talking and status updates rather than all that other shit. So I use 3 different Twitter apps. I use Hootsuite for content. I use Twitter for just my general everything that's happening. Yeah, and then I use Tweetbot for muting it out and just seeing what people say. All right, so we're on Shots of Social. We're going to come back. I want to talk more about Twitter. So let's talk about Shots of Social. So let me refresh for those that are new, given it's our second episode. We're all fucking new. Shots of Social is an idea that we had where obviously I'm bringing on brilliant people like Lynette, and we want to answer your questions. So these are things like you're struggling with something in social and you want an idea of how to manage it. You have a question about a particular feature or how to do something. And the idea is if you can stump us, we're going to take shots. So every time you stump us, we're going to take a shot. So here's the thing. If we wind up getting to several questions in stumped in this 10-minute window, we might either have to cut it off or just be smashed for the rest of the episode. But that's the idea, is we want questions from you, the Periscope audience that's watching, about ways that you can deal with and answer questions and solve problems and all that stuff in social. And if you don't ask any questions for a few minutes, we have a few that were sent in earlier today. Alyssa, you have those, right?
Yeah.
We have a few that were sent in earlier today, and then at some point we'll just be like, well, screw you, we're just going back to talking about Twitter and stuff. So, tell us if any of those come up.
My phone's slow.
It's all good.
Like big phones, very
You
slow.
got the plus?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get
Like
so when the S comes
everything.
up.
Well, there is no Tweetbot for Androids.
Yeah, it's sad, but there is. If you have a Mac computer, you can get it as a desktop. Just saying.
I don't know many people that have an Android phone and a Mac computer.
Yeah, no, this is kind of a weird
Like,
combo.
it kind of matches up.
Yeah, I guess so. But I don't know too many people that have Androids and Chrome or Chromebooks. Yes, Chromebook, best pound for pound laptop, I think. For the money, can't beat it.
I need one.
Yeah, it's awesome. I have a Chromebook and I have a MacBook Pro. It's wonderful.
I have a big iMac 27-inch and a MacBook Pro, non-Retina, non-SSD drive. That's all I know.
Rock. All right, well, if they ask questions,
Well, I have a
interject.
Yeah.
Ask us
Okay.
any question, and then otherwise we're going to go back to Twitter because I can talk about Twitter all day.
All right, well, if we're still on Google+, let's talk about Google+ for small businesses. How does it relate to LinkedIn or having a Facebook page? What is your opinion on that?
Okay, me?
Yeah, you start.
Okay, so my opinion on Google Plus for small businesses, local pages are where it's at, because when people go to maps.google.com, which a lot of people do, and they have purchased, I'll say roughly a year ago, my favorite app ever, Android, probably still on BlackBerry, whatever, is called Waze, right? So it's a, you can put in an address, it tells you real-time traffic and that sort of thing. But what it does is it also tells you other things that are along your route that you might possibly want to go to. Much like Yelp, but very like specific of where you are. I think that Google Plus is really, 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 really super important for that type of thing, for brick and mortars, for locals, and that sort of thing. I think, but if you look at it, I want you to kind of drop the plus off of things, because people get very polarized about Google Plus as like a social network akin to Facebook versus Google as the entire ecosystem of AdWords and search and maps and everything else that comes with it. If you forget about the plus part and just look at everything else, it is vitally important for small businesses to go into, sadly, Google Plus, I'll say that, to claim their local page and to, reviews. They bought, I never know how to say this, Zagat or Zagat?
I think it's technically Zagat, but I still call it Zagat.
I call it Zagat. Like, I'm a Jersey girl. I guess it's my accent.
Let's do it.
It's Zagat. We're renaming you. But they bought it for they have like a 30-point algorithm of how to rate like a location, a restaurant or whatever. So they purchased that some time ago and kind of rolled it into Google Local. Google Local is so strong, and whenever you go to Maps or whenever you search anything, specifically in Chrome, and you say, pizzerias near me, you're going to get Google Plus answers, or locations, you're going to get Google Maps locations with a pin on the map, the big red thing with the dot in the middle. that is also vital. So even if you never touch Google Plus, you have to absolutely. In fact, I won't work with a client unless they agree to claim that, because it's so important to your search rankings at that point.
All right, we have another question from Philly Pro. What are your thoughts on Elo, and will it eventually die?
Oh my God, can I please take this? Oh my God, can I please take this? Can I please? Me? Good, I'm taking it. Elo, as you can see, is like the punchline to a joke in my mind. So, hello. I think Elo was created out of this extremely strong desire to leave Facebook that is out there. I think there are people that want to leave Facebook, which is why the fragmentation is happening. If Facebook gave us everything we wanted, there would be no Snapchat success, there would be no Twitter, there would be no anything. So you're okay. So hold on. Elo is a social network that came out. It is promising to be ad free. That's cute. I'm sure you have a good monetization strategy when you're working off of venture capital.
Sell the back end.
Yeah, sure. And when you offer absolutely nothing new. But what Elo is it's a basically designless Tumblr meets Pinterest that no one uses. But someone was excited about for 3 days, and then we were all like, oh, yeah, there's no point to this. So, but here's the bottom line is, will it eventually die? Absolutely. It will go the way of Path. It will go the way... but Path is such a pretty app.
Path is pretty.
It's beautiful. In my article, I said Google should buy them. Perfect. They're brilliant. It's a beautiful UI. No, but Elo doesn't offer... Elo has the same problem that Google Plus had. You don't have a compelling reason why I need to use you.
There is no unique selling proposition.
Nothing. Not a single thing.
There's no USP.
And beyond that, I mean, they took way too long to get a mobile app. They were all mobile websites. It's buggy as all hell. It's just, it is an app without a purpose. It's an app without a reason to exist. And its reason to exist, being the anti-Facebook, is not strong enough and compelling enough, because whatever they offer in terms of feature sets, Facebook can duplicate that in an evening if they chose to. So from a feature perspective, they're way behind. From a usability standpoint, they're way behind. It's a disgusting app. I just don't think there's a really compelling... Now, that being said, I will say this. A niche community will undoubtedly emerge from it. In the same way that, there are people who use Vine, and that's their network. And there are people that use Snapchat, and that's their network. Because the truth of the matter is, everybody wants to find their blue ocean to create their community. And sure, some people will use Elo because they don't want to be part of the Facebook community, but I think Elo is doomed from the start. And I was 3 days into it before I declared it, basically on its death.
I just went in there to grab my name of Lynette Radio.
Yeah, you got to grab your name, got to lock it down.
And it's the land grab. But the thing with Elo that I think happened is, if a network like that had gone to normal people and stayed under the radar, I think it would have, gained some steam, gained a little bit of popularity.
Would have worked out some of the kinks.
Would have worked out the kinks, exactly. I really honestly think it was like a hackathon during the weekend. I think that's how that thing existed. But what happened, in my opinion, is that it happened to hit an influencer, and they talked about it, and it went boom, and they weren't ready. That is in my opinion, that is the kiss of death with an application that is not ready for prime time. Yep. You're screwing around with stuff, you're playing around with it, you want to test Ruby on Rails, you want to learn how to program, whatever, and then all of a sudden a friend of a friend of a friend is an influencer, like Robert Scoble or something, and he talks about it once, and it just ignites itself. And can I curse?
Yeah, of course.
And then it shits itself.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. I mean, it was a fascinating concept, and what was it? 2 weeks later, Sue came out, TSU, the app where you could get paid for your influence, which, great idea, probably about 6 years too late. Yeah, we should be. So we're done with Social Shots 1. We're going to go into topic 2.
She was afraid we wouldn't have enough to talk about.
Always prepared.
You're totally coming back. Okay, so, topic 2.
Okay.
Podcasting. That shit is coming back. You know what? No, that shit is back.
Listen.
I know you're a believer for a long time, but preach.
Are we coming to church?
Take them to church.
I need some hearts. Are we coming to church?
Can we get some hearts? We're going to take you to church right now on the podcast.
Are we getting some podcast love here? All right. So, very quick 411. If anyone, all right, I'm going to use your show as a catalyst for this, right? I do not have a Wikipedia entry. I would love it.
I would too.
Right?
For you.
No, for you.
I'll take one.
You need one.
We need a Wikipedia entry for both of us.
We do need that.
Put him as a reference to the Wonder Twins.
That would be awesome.
It would be awesome.
So I started podcasting in 2004, which is literally, I have screen caps of when this thing was birthed, when we named it, sort of thing. So I've been involved in it in almost a solid 10 and a half, 11 years, what have you. It has had a resurgence. And I'm so thrilled because when podcasting first came out, like we'll say 2005 to 2007, 8, 9, right? Podcasting 1.0. The general population was not there yet. We didn't have, when we were outside of major cities like Philadelphia, we had broadband. We had, geeks like us were idiots enough to spend $700 for a phone, but the general population did not have the bandwidth to consume podcasts. Now they do. And I greatly feel that that's a big thing for it coming back. You can download them on numerous applications, whatever. So people are more used to downloading larger form content, larger files, what have you. I think that is huge right now. I'm glad to see it come up. I went to a conference last year called Podcast Movement, and I was a little horrified because everything felt very MLM. Very find my, coaching program, and you too can learn how to podcast. So it's become a very formulaic media.
Remind me that I want to touch on that, the whole MLM concept of social.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but
but I'm glad that it's come about, actually. And, Jeff was joking with me earlier that I was into podcasting and then I kind of faded out or whatever you had said, and then I kind of came back to it because I have 2 shows that are coming up soon. I'm actually going to be behind the microphone now instead of editing it. But I've been involved in podcasting the entire time, so I've seen the art of what's happened, of hobbyists versus corporate versus NPR and radio stations and traditional
Serial
media.
changed the game.
I have not listened to that show. I've listened to half of the
You
first
will
show.
love it, regardless of the
here's the
content.
thing.
But you'll love that they just were like, "What can we do with this?" And they're like, changed it.
I love the audio format of it, of how she would have a dialogue and then cut out to other video, to other audio. I love that because I feel that that's not done enough, the actual production of podcasting, but it's just not my genre of material, but I still appreciate it for what it is, absolutely. But I've seen a huge arc of what's come around. So when podcasting started, it was all of geeks. Like, we used to go to Panera's and get a long table and set up like mixing boards and stuff and get on their free Wi-Fi, and the people would be like, "What the hell are you doing?" We're like, "Well, I'll have a soda and a salad." But now
all of us will share one soda, one salad.
They were all old radio guys, old ham guys, whatever. I was a technologist, so I got into it. One of the only females. I can pretty much guarantee you I was one of the first 5 female podcasters. Absolutely. Without question. And one of the first to get a 6-digit sponsorship. But now it kind of faded out because things like, I always did podcasting and Second Life, which are huge learning curves and data, it's very data intensive. And then Twitter is 100 and some characters.
Sign up, talk.
Whatever, sign up, talk. And I actually worked with Odeo before they became Twitter, before they branched off.
Okay.
So that's an interesting story too. But you go from the big thing to the little thing, and that killed it for a while, but now it's spinning up as an extremely viable content marketing channel, as a very viable, hobbyist turned, I can make an almost livable income from this channel. And I find it very interesting, but what podcasting looks like now is not what it looked like 10 years ago, and I'm actually happy with it.
I'm fascinated because when I step out and look at things from that 30,000-foot view, it's not surprising the podcast came back. It's a little surprising that it struggled as much as it did in the beginning, but if you think about it, what happened prior to social medias, right? there was the gatekeepers of print, radio, and television / video.
The trifecta.
Yep. So then what happened? Bloggers came out. So that's written. That's displacing print journalism in some way, and it's still like a constant clash and battle. But it's becoming more and more mainstream to be blogging and writing longer form content and actually writing. So then audio came out around the same time, a little bit after the blogging, and it was like we could do the same thing with audio. So then radio gets displaced by podcasts. So now anybody can be a radio disc jockey, and now we're seeing that video is massive. So video is the thing. Right? Video on Facebook, video on YouTube, video on Vine, video on Snapchat. So it's not surprising because it's exactly what you would expect, is that you went from a gatekeeper situation of a type of media to a two-way dialogue of media. Now, as far as podcasting goes, I am a huge fan of the medium for so many reasons, and much like you, I don't do much in the way of production value. I just like to do like this, like the conversation thing. But I think we should talk about, because we got a question about it, some of your favorite podcasters.
Oh.
So can I start? And I'll give you a second to think. So, actually, part of the reason I wanted to touch on this was that I think another reason for the resurgence of podcasts is because there's more content producers.
Yes.
So there's infinitely more, because it's not such a niche thing anymore. Now there's many more people producing content. So here's some of my favorites. My first and favorite, and I will always give you the shout out, homeboy, because you produce the best freaking podcast on the web. Mitch Joel's 6 Pixels of Separation is absolutely the best podcast that I listen to, time in, time out. It's the bomb. New one I just found, and it's leapfrogging over others right now because it's just such a damn good podcast, The Art of Charm.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it is so... I've only listened to about 4 episodes.
But you're charming already.
I know, that's the thing. It's like it was a podcast made for me. But it's about like the art of influence and seduction, marketing, stuff like that. I like... okay, so those are 2 of my favorites. I like Derek Halpern's Social Triggers Insider. He doesn't create too many episodes, but when he does, he's got great guests. He talks about great stuff. Jay Bayer and his whole team at Convince and Convert, they're killing it. Yeah, Jay's awesome.
I talked to him yesterday.
Did you? That's awesome. He's a good dude. I like him. So yeah, they put together great content. The Foundation podcast, it's all about business owners that start from nothing. It's called the Starting From Nothing podcast. It's another one I'm a huge fan of. There's Startup School by Seth Godin. It's just a short series. Serial, I thought changed the game, and when I look at that, I'm like, they rethought the medium. As opposed to a radio show, they looked at it as, this is a storytelling vehicle.
Yeah.
And I can go on, I have hundreds of podcasts that I could mention. Joe Rogan's is kick-ass and awesome. Across all different genres, I can name a bunch, but I'll let you name a few.
Alright, so I'll have to give a shout out. Not only because I loved the show and I used to fangirl over Bob Murphy for a while, and then I got to meet him in some capacity, and now he invites me on his show to be one of his panelists. It's called the Beancast, and it's much...
Beancast, yeah.
Beancast, right? I was just on there this past Sunday. Jay Baer, Scott Monty, John... I forget it. No, not Duct Tape Marketing. He should be on there, though. But John... Is it John H. Wall? John will kill me because I don't remember his middle initial, but it's John Wall. He does the Marketing Over Coffee podcast.
With Chris Penn. Yeah.
So there's that one. So
that reminds me, Marketing Companion. Sorry, I have to give you guys a shout out. Mark Schaefer and Tom Webster.
Yes.
So good, so good. Sometimes so funny that Mark is cracking up and crying from the shit that Tom says. It's so good.
I love Tom's voice. So I love being cast, but it's funny because I love to listen to things that are outside of my comfort zone, because being cast tends to be more advertising side of things, where I come on and he's like, you're my resident Google expert, and I'm like, I don't know everything about Google, but whatever. So I love the being cast. I actually love Marcus Sheridan has 2 shows. I'm so bad. One is called the Hubcast, which I absolutely love because I'm all about Hubcast lately, or a HubSpot lately. I love his show. He's got, his counterpart on there, George, that does, he's basically me because he's technical and marketing at the same time. But he does, Marcus does a show that's strictly just him chatting about this, basically the state of digital marketing and marketing, which I love. I absolutely, and it's Philly Metro, she's Delaware, but I'll kind of call it Philly Metro, a show called She Podcasts. And it is everything in my life that I wish that I could do. I did podcasting seminars, podcasting camp, all kinds of things for women in podcasting for 11 years. I've been doing it. And there's two women that do a show called shepodcast.com, I'm sure you can find it, that they talk about the role of women entrepreneurs, women small business owners, because there's a difference, women podcasters, women content producers. It's just phenomenal. And honestly, the content is anyone can use it. Doesn't really matter how you identify with your gender. But it's called She Podcast because they, as well as I, believe that women need a bigger voice. And they are, right up to the table willing to do it. So that is one of my all-time favorite shows whatsoever.
Cool. I'm also getting a few more of the Smart Passive Income podcast with Pat Flynn. It's totally off the hook. It's totally one that's worth listening to all the time.
Chris Ducker has a show. He does Periscopes now, I think.
Who?
Chris Ducker.
I know Chris Ducker.
What? Who knows Chris Ducker? We need some hearts.
Get some hearts
Chris
for Chris
Ducker.
Ducker.
The Duck.
David Merriman Scott.
Ducker. I
Love him. It's fantastic. Yeah, you gotta listen to there's Entrepreneur on Fire.
Yes.
Yep. Another good one. That's John Lee Dumas? Yep, John Lee Dumas.
I don't know how you say it.
Nah, never mind. I'm not gonna speak negatively of any, but I do want to get back real quick to the MLM thing. So I know we're supposed to go to
people are
shots.
blowing up. How do you not know Ducker Stove?
Listen, I'm just going to say I want everybody to tweet Chris right now that Lynette Radio absolutely loves him. That's all I'm saying.
Look, think of it this way.
I need to go.
The web is like a giant ocean. I can't drink it all, okay? I look at a lot of stuff. I apologize, Chris. I'll look into you, but I don't know who he is. I want to talk. I know we're supposed to do shots, but I need 2 minutes here because we need to talk real quick about the MLM thing. Because here's the thing. Here's what I'm noticing. So we're doing the Periscope thing, but I am a major live streaming. I'm not going to call myself a hater, but a skeptic. So when Meerkat came out in Periscope, I was like, you stream. Kick. They were out for a while. This is nothing new. Yeah, Justin TV. This shit's been out for a while. So let's not flaunt ourselves as we came up with the newest thing. It's been done. So that's one thing. But the second thing is that most of the people that I hear that are extolling the virtue of Periscope and Meerkat, you know what they're telling me is that they made money on Periscope and Meerkat because they got to sell their course on Periscope and Meerkat. To show people how to, that's the point. We're blogging about blogging. We're tweeting about tweeting. We're doing podcasts about how to be better podcasters. We're doing video course about how to be better at video. Isn't there a certain point at which you just want to choke the goddamn life out of someone? Because when it comes down to it, I mean, the reason I started my company is because I was tired of seeing these fucking phonies who just have a Twitter account and they think they're a social media consultant. If you can't tie it back to business, that's nonsense. So this Periscope for Periscope nonsense is killing me. And
I'm going to blow up your Twitter presence and I got 43 followers.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I got an offer up from a guy on Facebook who's like, we work with big brands and this and that to optimize your Facebook presence. We can guarantee you 1,000% growth. I looked at it, had 7 likes. No shit. 7 likes. Tried to tell me that. And I'm not a big counter of likes and followers, but come on. Anyway, Shots of Social. We're back on the Shots of Social thing. If you stump us, we're taking shots. That's what we're doing. Your questions, you're trying to figure out something in social. You got some sort of feature you're trying to figure out. You want to ask our opinion about something.
Well, there was some debate about MLM here a little bit ago.
Okay.
The definition of it?
Definition.
Oh, multi-level marketing. It's the Avons. It's the Avon. Am I thinking of the right thing?
Right. So I've actually done work. We'll say 2008, 2009, around that, some time ago, with a lot of franchise models or network marketing models. A lot of people would identify it as network marketing. So the home party, I sign you up and you get to sell and I make a commission up, the downline.
It's big with energy, right?
It's big. Energy is huge. There's, I've gotten invites for eyelash stuff. I bought it, to be honest.
We gotta use that too.
Do you really?
No, I just have lovely normal lashes.
Pyramid scheme?
A lot of people
they associate
it with pyramid schemes, although I've seen a lot of companies that genuinely and ethically do network marketing. You know, you market and sell to your network, and you know those people will sign up, and you make it a commission up the line.
And realistically, you should sell to your network because there are people that already like and know you.
But what it is,
but it's the way you do it.
It's the commission structure, the downline, where you make money off of the 3 people downline from you, or the however many. That's what the structure of MLM basically is. Network marketing is considered the more politically correct version of doing it. It's usually the more ethical. When you say MLM, it's usually the version of Black Hat. They're doing stuff, you know, like, you know, you have to sign up, you have to pay me $100 a month to be in the network. You know, there's some business going on inside. Most people would say Tupperware, Avon, Mary Kay, in my world anyway, that sort of thing. But it's usually home parties are based in that. But you're right, energy is in there a lot now.
Yeah, you see a lot of that.
There's a lot, and in some capacities, people think affiliate marketing is in that, which it can be, but it's not.
I mean, you know, I think there's a line with affiliate marketing because so recently we became a Contactually partner, and I wrote a blog post about love Contactually. And the reason that I became a partner, and the reason why I'm kind of 50-50 on affiliate, is that when I recommend a product, I've used it, I like it, it's awesome, and the number of people that I tell about it, it would be great if you gave me $1 or $2. So for Contactually specifically, we became a partner for 2 reasons. One, we wanted the ability to make a little bit of money for all of the people we told about it. When I first discovered it, I no shit in a month probably told 40 people about it. So I'll take a few dollars for that if they sign up. The second thing is that we got to customize it so that when people sign up through our link, they're able to get our email templates that we're sharing with them. Kick ass. You should sign up. It's kick ass. So we got a question though. Effective mobile and apps on business.
And voice activated optimization searches.
So, we're talking about like Google Now's, Cortana's, and Siri's. Got it. So, one, the effective mobile and apps cannot be understated.
MLM versus affiliate marketing.
Okay, I'll touch on that.
Let's touch on that, and then we'll go back to this, the mobile apps.
Okay.
Just make sure we close that out.
Affiliate marketing is basically a sales commission, and this is my sort of non-Wikipedia definition of it.
Yeah.
An affiliate marketing is where you make a commission off of someone when they click a link and it has, you know, it's tagged where it's your account. They make a commission. The person that generates the link makes a commission off of your sale.
Example.
Or
I tell you, click
sales.
my Contactually link. I say you should use Contactually because it's effing awesome. You click my link. It says /invite/True Voice Media. You click it. You go there. You sign up for a trial. When you convert to a paying customer, I make 20% of that for the first year, I think it is. Because I originate, that's my sales commission. I'm literally a salesperson for that. And then after that, I think they keep the full 100%.
Right, but something I'd like to say though is that the price of the product is not marked up to compensate for the 20%.
Yeah, that's important.
It's still, like if you bought it direct or bought it through affiliate, it's still the same price. Where MLM, a lot of times things are inflated to cover the downline cost of the money and the tiers that they pay.
Yeah.
Wikipedia can tell you a ton. I'm telling you, I lived in that space for a really long time. I don't anymore, thank goodness, but that's kind of where that goes. I really do like affiliate sales online. A lot of people that we know do it and make significant income from it, so it's viable.
I made like a few $100 last year. I'd like to make a couple thousand this year.
I'd like to make a couple thousand a month.
Can't hurt.
So what's the question?
Let's talk about the mobile apps and its effect on business. I'm going to give my first example of that, and then I'm going to let you run with it. So number one, the effect of mobile and apps on your business is this. You need to be thinking about mobile from the start. That means your emails need to be mobile optimized, your website needs to be mobile optimized, the entire experience of your business needs to be mobile optimized. What that means is, specifically if you're a local business, you need to understand that there are 2 types of visitors. The one that's sitting behind a computer and that's looking into you that has certain things they want, and those that are out and about and have a phone in their hands and they need limited information. They need cut and dry, to the point, what's going to sell them at that point. So if you're a restaurant, you need what's the menu, where are you?
Not flash.
Not yet. No flash. Like you need to make sure it's going to show up on their site. So that's the first thing. The second thing, and then I'll turn it over to you, is the number one thing that people are going to say into Siri or Google Now or Cortana is something like, how do I, or how to this, or how to that, because they're doing something and they need a quick video of how to do it. So in terms of your content strategy, if you have a business in which somebody's looking to do something that you offer, you need video that's optimized for how do I, or how did this, or how did that. Because when they say to Siri, how do I design a social media strategy, which is a silly thing to say to Siri because she doesn't know shit. But if you were to do that, you need a video that actually is what they'll immediately be brought to. What else? Mobile and apps.
Well, what I would like like to say is that not every business needs a mobile app.
True.
But you need to think mobile first. It's probably upwards of half of all searches done right now are from some sort of mobile device. A big iPhone, a tablet, an Android device, whatever. You have to think about what you look at this. Jeff and I have had these conversations about restaurants, about how all their menus are in PDF and they're too big to download, or they're in flash sites and I can't download it on, because Apple owns the market right now, as far as I know, for cellular phones, and I can't download flash on this. So you have to think about the person and their time of need when they need your business. Right now, I'm in Philadelphia. If I wanted something else, I would literally search it up on my phone. I'd press the button, I'd look down, I'd go, Siri, where something. One of the things that I always tell clients and clients is think of the old-fashioned journalist thing. Who, where, what, when, and why. If you can answer those questions quickly online with a blog content, an article, or something, make it useful, it will show up in search, and when they click on it, it needs to be formatted in a correct way. They need to be able to press on the phone number and get it, press on the address and get maps or what have you. But if you concentrate your entire your content strategy on answering who, what, where, when, and why of your product or service, your location, or whatever you have, you're ahead of the game.
And just to kind of piggyback on that, let's talk a little bit more about content. Because if you have an audience that, and all of our audiences are mobile now. Let's be real. Smartphone penetration is climbing. Just about everyone has one at this point. And if they don't, they're just waiting for their contract to end. So when you're thinking about your content, if you imagine somebody's reading it like this, that's a whole different thing than somebody's reading a piece of paper or if they're reading it on a computer screen. So when you think about how you format your content even, that's a big consideration. The number of different types of minutes. Are you using pictures and text and video, or are you just using a big long thing of text? Because if I'm going to read it on my phone, and it's not mobile optimized, I'm not going to read it. I'm going to go to the next site. I'm going to go to your competitor that's got a mobile optimized site. So from a content perspective, you need to consider the fact, again, to your point, mobile first, because it's going to show up on a desktop one way or the other. So mobile first, make your content mobile friendly.
One thing I will add to that, though, the caveat to that, is that if we're talking about brick and mortar almost unintentionally, but if you are an e-commerce site of any way, the last thing I want to do is purchase a product through my web browser on my mobile phone. It's a pain in the ass. It is the pain in the ass. Mobile applications, if you are an e-commerce, absolutely. It sounds ridiculous, but I actually downloaded Norwegian Cruise Lines. They have an app, and I searched.
You were ranting about this today.
I was ranting about it today, right? I don't know if I'm going to take a cruise on Norwegian Cruise Lines, but I went to their website, on my phone, and on the top it popped up, do you want to download the app? And I was like, yes, because it was a painful experience for me to actually look at their website, and it turned it sideways, and I was on my phone, and I said, just give me your app. And I now have the Norwegian Cruise Lines app on my phone, which means and I verified it.
You probably went to push it. You just, okay. They probably can push notifications.
Facebook. I logged into Facebook. So now they have all my Facebook stuff. So, they're retargeting me to, whatever. I don't care. Give me a good deal over Christmas. We'll be good. But, if you're e-commerce and you think about a cruise, it's going to cost me $7,000 to take my family on a 1-week cruise in December. $7,000, and I'm literally ready to buy it on my phone. I don't need a computer. I don't need a travel agent. If you're e-commerce, if you say add to cart, if you ever do that, I absolutely believe that you need an app just for you.
And I think if you take all of what we've just said, I think the bottom line of it is reduce friction.
Yeah.
Reduce friction. Make it easy, no matter what it is. Whether it's you see that the way to reduce friction is to create an app, or whether reduce friction is to make the content easy and mobile friendly, or no matter what it is, reduce that friction. Make it easy for me to buy, make it easy for me to interact.
If your persona is like over 40, like make the text big.
Nice.
See, I can't see anything.
Perfect. How are we doing on time? We're 53.
We got 7 minutes left.
All right, cool. So we're actually in the wrap up of our show. We're doing the hearts. Need some hearts. Let people know. Let the people know. Love us. Love us.
There it is.
I mean, we've been sitting here drinking just because we love you.
Lots
I'm
of
drinking
cards.
because I love you.
I'm drinking because I love you, Wonder Twin.
Wonderful.
So I think let's take these last few minutes. We're wrapping up. I will have you back any time you're willing
Okay, deal.
for anything.
Well, let's ask them.
Would you have Lynette back?
This is like a popularity contest. Oh my god, I'm in high school.
Feed my ego. Okay, so let's take the last few minutes. Two things. I got two questions for you.
Okay.
Scratch that. I have three questions for you. I know, whatever. They're all going to work together. The one is, what are you excited about that's happening right now? The second is, what are you working on right now that you want to tell people about? And the third is, where can people go and be social with you?
Okay, I'll start from the bottom up.
Start from the bottom.
You can come and be social with me at Lynette Radio on Twitter, Periscope. I actually have an account. I haven't used it yet. So I'll come to you with this. So my background is marketing technologies. If you can think of anything decent that you want to hear from me on Periscope, I'd be willing to jump on a Periscope of my own and talk about it. I just don't know anything to talk about that. So LynetteYoung.com is my website. So those are the two places you can find me. So what was the first question?
First question is, what are you excited about?
What am
What's
I
out there
excited
that you're
about?
really excited about?
I'm actually excited about the fact that of the mobile web, of the mobile social aspect. I love Periscope, I love Meerkat, I watch them all the time. I love the fact that we can be engaged with someone where they're at, which is where I feel as a professional that companies should always meet their potential clients where they're at. Don't make them come to you, you go to them. I love this because we're sitting in a restaurant right now and you are with us. So this idea of where you're at marketing, where you're at communications, where you're at relationships is really, really, really important for me. You don't have to necessarily, because we used to be the drum that, everything leads to your blog and everything leads to your website and it's breadcrumbs and social and it's your home base is your web. You know what? Screw that. I'm not going to force people to go someplace out of their comfort zone just because that's where I can convert them in the funnel. I want to have the conversation where they're at. And if where they're at is via my phone and an application and video and Twitter, that's absolutely what it is. And, we all wrote this 10 years ago, but the infrastructure wasn't there yet. The cell phones weren't there yet. The broadband wasn't there yet. The BIOS wasn't there yet. It is now.
Kick ass.
So that's what I'm excited about.
100% with you, man. So that's the end of our show for the most part. I'm Jeff Gibbard. This is Lynette Young. We're going to be doing social happy hours hopefully every week if I can get amazing people like Lynette to come and join us. We're going to try and do this every Tuesday, somewhere between 6 and 7. We're going to talk about stuff in social. We're going to be putting up a web page for this so you can get updates about who's going to be our guest, how you can get involved, submit questions, all that sort of cool stuff. If you have ideas for the show, if you love it, if you hate it, if you want to give us feedback, you can find me on Twitter at jgibbard. Are you selfieing right now? That'd be adorable. I'm at jgibbard online. You can find me. My website is Jeff. If you just type in Jeff Gibbard or J Gibbard on the internet,
He owns the internet.
you will find it. The only other Gibbard that's out there that can even hold a candle is Ben Gibbard from Death Cab for Cutie. And I'm coming for you, Ben. I'm coming. I'm taking over the web. So that's where you can find me. Please give us all of the hearts before we finally sign off. And keep tuning in for all of our different shows. We're trying to make the social happy hour a lot of fun. Bring on fucking amazing people like Lynette and have cool-ass conversations. Engage you, the audience, and collect as many hearts as we can for our egos.
Drew wants us to have a Deadpool social scope hour.
Yes! Deadpool.
What?
That. Did you see it?
Cheers. Thank you.